fine. It's totally fine. It's fine. Okay, so let's get into the thick of it. Yesterday I had my driving test at the age of 30. I failed. I'm going to change that. I did not fail. It did not go the way that I wanted or expected it to. Don't like the F word. Getting rid of that. I don't like the feelings that I have that are associated with that word. So we're just going to change it. Let's just start the story at the beginning. I did my theory nearly 2 years ago. 2020, February. Did it, passed it, no problems, all gravy, baby. Then I had some lessons. I had about 10 hours with a local driving school. I did not really vibe with my instructor. She just made me feel crap about myself all the time. Like, there was this one instance where we were stopped at some traffic lights. There was some roadworks and it turned red, and so I was sitting there. I was right at the front. It turned green and I didn't have it in gear, and she was like, well, you have to have it in gear. Yeah, thank you for that, Sheila. Can't remember what her name was. And so because I didn't have it in gear and it took me so long to try and move off, it turned red again. And so everyone behind me was like, you're still a piece of garbage. I'm not, though. And neither are you if you have not passed. Okay? Be careful with the things that you tell yourself. You're not garbage. Yes, I had some lessons. I had 10 hours worth. I just didn't really learn much, to be honest, with that instructor. Yeah, we just didn't get on. It's all good. It's all gravy. Lots of time went by because I wasn't in a position where I was able to pay for lessons. I got to a stage where I still hadn't had any lessons. This was 2021, beginning of 2021. Still hadn't had any more lessons. But I was like, I need to just book the test, because it's not like back in the day, you know, prior 2020, where you could just book a test for 2 months down the line, and then if you failed, I mean, I don't even know how long you had to wait for a test date before COVID. I don't know, but obviously because there's such a backlog now, it's difficult. It really is. And so I booked a test. I booked it for May, and the earliest date that I could get was September 2021. So I just booked it, and I was like, well, hopefully I can get lessons before then. You know, at least it's booked, at least it's done. So it got to about a month before my test date, and I still hadn't had any lessons. I just could not find someone. I was like, please, someone teach me to drive. Finally managed to find someone. Straight away I knew, like, great instructor, we got on really well, and I just felt instantly really comfortable. And so from the first lesson, he was like, yep, you're at quite a good level, considering I hadn't really done much driving. And at the end of the lesson, I was like, look, I have a test booked for a month's time. If we get in enough lessons, do you think that, you know, it's a possibility that I could pass? And he was like, at first, I think he was not sure. But then after the second, third, he was like, yeah, I think we can do this. So I had about 3 weeks of lessons, and they were going really well. And so my test date was forthcoming, and it was about a week before the test date, and I got an email to say your test has been cancelled because your examiner is no longer available. Your test will now be January 2022, which, you know, months away. And so that was, at the time, it was really disappointing, but actually, I don't think I was ready. I was ready in the sense that I knew how to drive, but my confidence was not up there. And also things like parallel parking, I still struggle a little bit with now. So there's no way I would have passed that test. I really don't think I would have. So I'm glad that it changed. So yeah, I got some more lessons in. Felt really ready. In preparation for my test yesterday, I was, doing all sorts of things. I was meditating a lot and like visualizing passing and just visualizing being really calm on the test. And I do believe that all of that stuff really did help. I can't say for sure because I don't know what I would have felt like had I not done that stuff, because I did do it. I think it helped. I felt quite calm during the tests. And honestly, I was doing really well. So what happened was we got about 25 minutes, 30 minutes into the test. And the thing that I failed on was on a road that I've never been on before. It had 2 sets of junction lines. And it just threw me off. I don't know why it did, because obviously if there's a set of junction lines, just slow down and check. Apparently I checked on my left and didn't check on my right. And as soon as I didn't check on my right, he noted it down as a serious fault and then started directing me back to the test centre. Now, when I realised that that's where we were going, my initial thought was, oh, I've definitely failed. But then I looked at the time and it had been sort of half an hour and I thought, oh, well, we haven't done the manoeuvre yet. Maybe we're going back to the car park to reverse into a bay. And then I was like, oh, he only got me to pull over twice. And then when we got into the car park, he was like, right, if you want to follow the road round. And I was like, no. I did get some minors. He didn't go through the minors with me. I was a bit offended. I was kind of like, because usually, apparently, they do. Like, even if you've passed, they'll still go through all your minors with you. And he was kind of like, so you failed on this, blah, 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 blah. And then just got out the car and was like, okay, bye. Bye. But I obviously got an email to show my minors. I think it was only about 4 or 5. Yeah, it's disappointing. It is disappointing. I got back to my studio and there are a lot of things riding on this for me, having waited so long, and also once I do pass and I can drive, it is going to open up a lot more doors for me. And so yeah, it was disappointing. It was disheartening. I got back to my studio and basically just burst into tears. Had my 10 minutes and then I sort of started to come around a bit. Now I feel absolutely fine about it. You can't change the past, you can't change what's happened. If this was pre-2020 and I could just retake it in 10 days, it wouldn't be as much of an issue. It's because I've waited so long and because I know... So my situation now is that because I had my theory in February 2020, it runs out this February. And so when I try and rebook a test, it won't show me any... It shows you all the available dates beforehand. There are none, obviously, because there's such a backlog. And it won't show me any past that date. So now what I have to do is retake my theory. I've booked that in. The earliest that I could book it for was the 28th of Feb. So I have to wait for that date, do my theory, pass it. Imagine if I didn't pass it. I'm still a piece of garbage. And then I can book the next practical. I kind of just wanted to make this video because, firstly, one of the things I did when I got home, I didn't plan it, but I ended up going onto YouTube and just having a look at some people talking about their driving experiences failing, because I'd seen so many videos of people passing and it's all great. And I always see pictures of people like 17, 18, 19-year-olds, pass first time with a small amount of minors. I'm like, that's amazing. But when something like this happens, I don't want to look at other people's failures and be like, I'm getting happiness from that. Just, it's nice to know that you're not the only one. I think it's helpful to learn from other people's mistakes. I did learn something. I learned that I learned the thing about the junction lines. And so when that happens again, I will make sure that I don't make that mistake. You know, social media is a platform where you want to show all the best bits about your life and all the happy, joyous things, which is brilliant. But I also think it's really important to, you know, share these things. If someone can learn something from this video, also the fact that I'm in my 30s, I think is just something. I haven't watched a single video of someone who is over the age of, like, I don't know, 26, 27, talking about like driving tests, driving experience. Yeah, I just think it's important to know that it doesn't matter what age you are. You're probably going to be nervous. You're going to be nervous. There are things you can do to try and combat that. You know, it's not always rainbows and butterflies. It's compromising moves. Thank you, Maroon 5. How good was that album? That album was so good. I think it was called Songs About Jane. And I remember, like, prior to having that album, I must have been like 12, 13. Prior to having that album, I used to listen to, you know, Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera and Mariah Carey. And I used to sit there on my karaoke machine and, you know, think that I was some kind of amazing pop star. And then I got that album and I just felt like I was a rock star, you know? Maroon 5. Anyway, so I hope that this video was helpful in some capacity. I know, yes, if you have failed, I feel for you. No, correction. If you didn't pass, if things didn't go the way that you thought they would or the way that you hoped they would, it's okay. I know it's frustrating because you probably will have to wait a while until you can take the test again. It's just one of those things. Find happiness in the acceptance that you cannot change the past. The past has happened. It's in the past. How many times do I want to say past? I might actually also do a video on, if it's helpful to anyone, on the things I did to prepare. Because even though I didn't pass, I do feel like the things I did really helped with my nerves. I think another piece of advice that I would give if it doesn't go the way that you are hoping it goes, try not to dwell on that too much, because it is so easy. It would have been so easy for me to come home and put on my gym jams, crawl into bed and just basically cry. But, and I'm not saying don't be upset about it. Absolutely embrace those emotions. Definitely, you know, don't try and just brush it off, or feel everything. Feel it, but don't feel it for too long. You know, give yourself a certain amount of time. I watched a video on this the other day. Someone, although the guy that I was watching was like, give yourself 5 minutes. And I was like, 5 minutes? That's not enough time for me to cry. Give yourself, even if it's half the day, at least give yourself half the day or however many hours, be upset about it, you know, process it. And then spend the rest of your day doing something positive. It doesn't matter what it is. Anything that brings you joy, that makes you feel happy. Go for a walk. Dance in your bedroom. That's one thing I did yesterday. Watch one of your favourite films. Just do something to just try and forget about what's happened. Find some joy, and you know, the next day's a new day and time to make a new game plan. Wow, I should be like a life coach. I definitely shouldn't be. But yeah. Maybe I need to get my shit together before I look into life coaching. Anyways, I hope that this video has in some way been helpful, or I don't know, at least made you smile. If you haven't passed your test, you'll pass next time. And if you don't pass the next time, you'll pass the time after that. It doesn't matter, really. And screw what anyone else thinks. take away other people's opinions about what they think, you know, even if it took you 10 tries, who cares? In the end, it's going to make you a better driver. At the end of the day, it's just more practice. The thing is, I would rather have not passed my test first time round and have to do it again than have passed and then the first time I'm on the road cause some sort of accident, you know? So that's the way you gotta look at it, really, isn't it? So hopefully this has been helpful or informative or, you know, just something to do. Positive thinking, people. It's all gravy. It's all gravy, baby. Worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. My boyfriend's sister and her partner bought me a bottle of champagne for my birthday, like a really lovely bottle of champagne. I was like, okay, I'm going to save this for a special occasion. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to save it for when I pass my driving test. I put the bottle in the fridge, took it out the box, put it in the fridge. I was so convinced, had really convinced myself that I was going to pass. Then I came home and had to take it out of the fridge and put it back in the box. I did have a drink though. And also I know it's very tempting to shut yourself off. I guess also this video could be, it doesn't have to be about driving. It could be anything. If something hasn't gone your way, if something has happened that you didn't plan for, you know, that has thrown a bit of a spanner in the works, still take some of my advice from this video. Rachel the life coach. Okay, so yeah, this is the end of the video. Don't really know how to end it, so bye!